Okay, we're going to pour some drinks. We're not on the jam shed, for once.
Do you think I've got enough gin in there? Did you hear that, everybody?
That was a lot of gin. That smells gorgeous, by the way.
It's strawberry Zafiro. It's from B&M.
Zafira? Vauxhall Zafira? Vauxhall have branched out. They're doing gins and people carriers.
Fucking hell, Jess.
I had to get Jamie to open my orange juice before, because I drink Malibu and orange juice, which, if you have not tried, if you followed our last series, everybody started drinking Jam Shed, because me and Jamie drink Jam Shed.
And we put on a lot of weight because of it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. All my clothes definitely still fit. Yeah, and if you've not tried it, you need to try yourself Malibu and fresh orange juice, because it's fucking gorgeous and it just tastes like holidays. Have you ever drank a holiday? No, you haven't, so you need to try this. Okay. Jamie's on, you got strawberry gin and lemonade.
Yeah, lemonade. Sometimes I drink it with juice, but I didn't want to steal all your juice, so I've been on the lemonades.
Would you have strawberry gin and orange juice?
Strawberry and orange? Sense. Orange and strawberry, that goes well. Have you ever put like 2 fruitellas in your mouth, one strawberry, one orange?
I haven't put one frutella in my mouth. Well, I did when I was a kid, but not now. Yeah. Anyway, for those of you that are wondering, what the fucking hell am I listening to? Why am I listening to these people talk about drink? So, welcome to the Wandering Womb podcast. We are, this is the first episode back in series 2.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're doing a second series. You remember when we started this podcast and it was like, shall we just start a podcast because we're stuck in lockdowns, fuck all else do?
Yeah, and we sort of were supposed to just continue, but we've had a bit of a wild time recently and we've decided to come back, fresh start. Yeah. Series 2.
Yeah. We've just rebranded it. Basically, we've not fucking done out for weeks and then we thought, we could call it a second series.
I came up with that.
I know, genius.
Yeah.
And now everyone thinks we're dead professional because we've got a second series. Like there's some producer helping us. There's not. This
is an iPhone and some mics we got off Amazon.
I know, fucking wicked mics though. I had no problems with the mics. Except we did have some problems with the mics because there were people complaining that sometimes when we like laugh dead hard at each other, it like deafens them.
Sorry about that.
I don't care enough to get new mics.
No, me neither. Sorry.
Oh my god, that drink's nice. Okay, so those of you that don't know us, my name's Jess Taylor. This is Jamie Shrive, my partner in crime.
Aww.
You are.
It's cute.
We're going to be getting married at some point.
Aww.
And we do a ton
I've got a big smile on my face now.
And we do a ton of shit together.
Not drugs though. We don't do drugs together.
No, we don't do drugs together, not no more. Yeah, so we talk about interesting shit.
Yeah. Well,
and
we find it interesting
and other people seem to find it interesting because we've had, 17,000 downloads, you know?
Yeah,
I checked
that's
it today.
so cool.
17,000 downloads. You not got no lives.
I think we've got some great things lined up to talk about in series 2 if you wanted to sort of go into some of them.
Well, we're going to have a bit of like a catch-up episode today because we've just had a fucking ton of shit go on. And we just thought we'd have a chat with you and catch up and have a drink. But then we've got some sessions planned, but it's very much like whatever comes up, innit? Because sometimes
what we feel like doing, or if something's happened and we're like ramped up. Is that the right word? Ramped up? Turned on? No, that's the wrong word. That is the wrong word.
We're not doing a podcast when you're turned on, Jamie. No.
Wow.
So we're going to talk about catcalling and harassment, so we're going to cover that.
Yeah.
We want to talk about authenticity in women's lives. We want to talk about women and money at some point. I want to have a really frank conversation, although we're going to have a lot of drink, about women's bodies and nudity.
Yes, I think for sure I want to talk about that.
Some shit is cracking off.
Oh, when isn't it? Cracking.
And just like the conversation around it's too conservative.
Yeah, it is.
It's not radical at all.
No, it's not.
It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
I can't get into that right now.
Yeah, people don't really understand well, a lot of people do. Some people don't understand the difference between, like, liberal, radical, and conservative.
Yeah, and they're starting to mash together, which is a bit concerning.
Just a bit.
I wanted to talk about women's roles in the family, because I've just noticed some interesting shit, and I think that would be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And then at some point, me and you've got to put our fucking big girl knickers on and talk about misandry.
Yes, we have. For those of you...
Misandry.
Well, yeah. For those of you who don't know...
made up word.
we've only told a few people. We have tried to do a podcast on misandry before.
Misandry.
Yeah, we were...
Well, we both say... It's such a stupid word. I don't even know how to say it.
We thought we pronounced it misandry, but apparently Google says it's misandry. Anyway,
no, it was the other way around. I pronounced it misandry, and then we went on Google, and it kept saying misandry.
Oh, shit. Anyway, we ended up having to delete that podcast.
That's what happens when men make words up. But yeah, we did. We had to delete it because we'd had too much to drink, and
I'm giving Jess a bit of a death stare at the moment.
It wasn't good. Imagine a podcast where for the entire podcast we're just like, well, that doesn't exist, so we're not debating it. So it wasn't a good podcast at all, and we were very ashamed of ourselves, and we thought, gosh, this doesn't centre men enough, so we deleted it. Anyway, we're going to talk about something else.
Yeah, one day we will get around to the misandry.
We will one day. I don't know when, but one day. Not like men haven't been centred for, I don't know, a millennia, 2 millennia.
Since the dawn of time.
So,
without further ado,
yeah, let's have a chat. We've done a ton of shit since the last time that we've chatted to everyone, haven't we?
Yeah, was the last episode the house move episode? Well, not the house move, the house episode.
When we put the offer in on the house.
We hadn't put the offer in.
No, we hadn't.
No.
Oh my god, that means you have to go right back.
Fucking hell. Okay, so following on from the haunted house, the guy with the house who didn't want to fucking sell the house.
The guy with the fucking wank cupboard that he'd made in his bathroom. That was hidden behind a mirror. It's not normal, people. It's not normal. Stop showing people around your houses if you've cut a fucking door into the fucking wall so you can have a wank. It's not normal.
Do you know what else isn't normal?
What?
That woman who was just trying to ask how much we earned.
I know, people.
And why we needed a house that big. It wasn't even
so
big.
Weird. I know.
I think we just look like chavs.
Chavs
can get mortgages.
I know. We were trying to be comfy, innit? We had loads of house viewings that day.
All of which were just... Anyway, we got some...
Anyway, if you want the details on these inside jokes, you need to go back a series and listen to the one about houses, which is a just diabolical episode. But I'm so glad that we were able to laugh about it, Jamie, because at the time it was traumatic as fuck.
It was traumatic. I think we drank a lot of bottles of Jamshed during that process.
I wish I'd drank Jamshed while we were viewing the houses.
Oh, we were so excited to view them, and then they were all just such a fucking disappointment.
They weren't like, disappointment is such an understatement, though. They were terrifying, some of them. Anyway, what happened afterwards was that we, like, literally the next day after we put that podcast out,
Wait, can I just say something?
Yeah, of course.
You know, like, when you meet up with someone from Tinder and they look great, okay?
No.
And they look great on their pictures, and then you see them in real life, and you're like, oh, this is not the same. That's how I felt viewing those houses.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot more hurt.
Yeah, it's like my sister's only taken photos of her face with a filter on for about 6 years, and then sometimes when I see her, I'm like, whoa. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, you know, people who always take pictures of themselves with filters on, and then you see them and you forget that they haven't got eyes the size of a donut.
I feel like this is a metaphorical shovel. There you go, you can dig yourself out of that one.
I don't have to dig myself out of it.
Okay.
No, when I was like 25, I realised that I hadn't taken an actual photo of my face without a filter on for about 2 years, so I banned myself off it, which is why I don't have Snapchat. You know what I mean? Just stop taking pictures of myself on... Did the wall just moan, or is next door shagging?
I think that's the first time I've ever heard next door shag.
Fucking hell, it's depressing.
And it was just a one quick...
Oh, maybe then... Oh, God, that's embarrassing. Anyway. Yeah, so we did, didn't we? We found a house and we put an offer in, and we were super quick. It had been on the market an hour, and we contacted them and was like, oh my God, this house is amazing.
We were really happy with it, weren't we?
Yeah, and like it was just the most perfect house in the whole world, and we just couldn't believe it. It had literally been on the market less than an hour. We rang the estate agent and was like, let us come see this house. We want to see it right now.
And they're like, oh, we've got someone booked in at 1. Do you want to come at 3? And I was like, no, we want to come at 11.
Yeah. So we got in before the other people. And then we'd made a decision in the car on the drive over there that if we liked it in the flesh, then we would put a full offer in, asking price, and then tell them to take it off the market, didn't we?
Yeah, which we did, because we'd seen there were so many houses that we couldn't even get to view because people had put offers in.
Oh no, it was just, there were so many houses we wanted to go see, and and then we'd get phone calls going, oh yeah, you got a viewing on this house tomorrow. Yeah, it's sold. Oh, fuck's sake. So it was really, we decided that we loved this house so much we weren't going to let it slip, were we? Like, at all.
No, yeah.
And we didn't, and honestly, it's like...
We just hope everything goes right, just because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID's proper dragged everything out. So, like, usually a mortgage turnaround, searches turnaround, and valuation surveys turnaround is like fucking, on average, couple of months. Mortgage is 4 or 5 days, searches can be 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. At the moment, it's fucking... Honestly, it's like how long's a piece of fucking string?
Yeah.
It's like every time you sort of ring for an update, they're like, yeah, you're in a queue. Well, how long's the queue? No, dunno. When will it be seen? Dunno.
Yeah. So, like, for those of you who are listening who didn't listen to the last episode, the reason that we're sort of in this position and, trying to buy a house during a pandemic is that the landlord just broke in, essentially, when he thought that we were both out. Actually, I was in and I was naked in bed. And he obviously was a bit like, oh shit, didn't realise you were here, but now we don't feel safe, so we're just trying to get out. Yeah, we just
don't want to be here now. That's it, man. It's like broke our fucking trust, and he's got keys to the house in it, and there's nothing we can do about it because it's the landlord. So, like, we weren't gonna buy yet. We were fucking squirreling away a load of money. Like, we did have some, but we were gonna save for a bit longer, and then we were just in a position where we were like, fuck it, we're gonna have to do it now, aren't we? So then we did. So we're hopefully gonna hear some news in the next week or two, and then we'll have a move-in date.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fucking fingers crossed, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do if I don't know, sale falls through or whatever. But yeah, so we've got that going on, and then it was my birthday.
Yes, it was.
And Jake, can I just say that, like, you were amazing.
Oh, everything that I tried to plan just kept getting fucked up, and I was like, fuck's sake. But then I managed to plan some
yeah, things. Yeah, you did amazing. Like, because obviously we're in fucking lockdown with all this rule of 6 bullshit, so...
There was a rule of 30 for parties, so I planned you a surprise party.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no parties, rule of 6, you can't have more people from more than so many households.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
Well, I didn't know any of this because it was all a surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, like, I was freaking the fuck out because I was turning 30 and nothing was happening and I had no plans and I thought it was just going to pass by like any other day and it was going to be awful. And then I was thinking about how I was going to deal with, like, the fucking existential crisis that had kicked in at the end of September because my birthday's end of October. And for, like, the whole of October, I was having, like, fucking anxiety attacks about dying and being 30 and all that fucking shit. And, like, I was just thinking, oh, God, it's going to be awful. And then, like, Jamie had all these plans that were surprises and secrets, didn't you? And I didn't know about it. So it was lovely. Hello. Castro's come to, I would say, see us, but it's not that she's come to see us. She wants us to go to fucking bed. She does this thing at a certain time of night where she, like, death stares you until you take her to bed. Doesn't she?
Yes.
If you stay up too late chatting or doing something, she just sort of stares at you and, like, keeps looking at the door like, come on.
Tries to stand on the stairs.
Yeah, she does. She tries to, like, round you up and take you to bed and be like, come on, bedtime now, the pair of you. She's like
our mum.
Yeah, she's like having a furry little mum. So yeah, birthday was awesome and, like, got to see some people and then Jamie bought us a holiday to Cuba, which was amazing. And then obviously we were so stressed because it wasn't a holiday to Cuba, was it, originally?
No.
Jamie did not buy us a holiday to Cuba. Jamie bought us a holiday to the Canary Islands.
Well, so I was like, right, if I'm going to book us a holiday, we're going somewhere that I know is going to be safe, like in Europe. And I just
won't try and fucking arrest us for being lesbians.
Yeah, so... And Cuba wasn't on the... I don't think it was letting people in when I booked
us. At the time.
And then obviously our hotel wasn't ready. So then they let us choose somewhere else, and I was just like, you want to go to Cuba? And they're like, oh yeah, you've just got to have a little test on arrival for COVID. And I just checked with you, and we're like, yeah, okay. And we sort of were just, a bit brave and just thought, we'll just have to put up with the test. And obviously, TUI have got COVID cover where you can cancel if you've got COVID, and they'll like look after you if you've got it and take you home. Well, they said they'll take you home if you've got it, but
they didn't. Listener, they didn't.
Yeah. So anyway, got to the airport in Cuba. They split you up from everyone, essentially, put you behind a screen, and honestly, it was the most horrific test I've ever had.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't. For those of you that have already had it,
not a self-test.
I hope not a fucking self-test, because at least you can control that. Any of you that have already had it, I hope it was in better circumstances than what me and Jamie had it in, because we had COVID tests where you were in a really long line with maybe 200 people in it, 2 meters apart, and then you stepped behind this sort of flimsy sheet with another 4 people, because do you remember there's 2 opposite you and 1 next to you? Well, so another 3 patients who just got off your plane, and you all just sat there whilst these people assaulted you with swabs in front of the other 3 people.
Honestly, they went so far. So the way I explained it to the kids earlier is that this is disgusting, but sometimes when you're sick and you throw up out of your nose, there's a cavity at the back of your nose that allows that to happen. Basically, they shove the swab so far up that it goes, like, I don't think it's meant to, cavity, but it definitely went into that cavity, because it gave me a fucking headache for 2 days. Yeah,
Jamie had a headache, like, right sort of at the top of your, what's this called? Like, your bridge of your nose.
Yeah.
Like just above your eyebrows,
behind my
wasn't
eyes
it?
And stuff.
Yeah, and then I got earache off mine.
It was horrible, and they shove a swab up both, like, at one nostril, then the other.
And your fucking eyes water like fuck, don't they? Like,
feels like you're drowning.
Yeah, we were in the queue with people, like, obviously who'd just had it done, and I swear to God, people were in fucking shock. Like, I've seen trauma enough to know that they were stood there in shock, like, just staring, just being like, oh my God, what just fucking happened to me? As soon as I just knew I wasn't going to cope. I got to, like, it was my turn, or maybe 2 or 3 people until it was my turn, and my fucking heart was racing. I just thought, oh my God, I can't do this. But I was trapped. There was nothing I could do. They don't let you in the country if you don't have it, and so on. Like, I fucking got pulled into this little flimsy fucking makeshift fucking fuck knows whatever the fuck it was with these other people, and they don't speak a word of English to you. They don't speak to you at all, and they just walk up to you and just, like, fucking shove this swab up your nose. And, like, I don't know.
And if you resist, they grab your face.
Yeah, she grabbed my face, because, like, my foot, like, now it's interesting, because my trauma responses when I was younger were to freeze, and as I've got older, they're to fight. So, like, I've been in several situations now where somebody's either attacked me or something has happened that isn't necessarily, like, violence. So, for example, it felt like a violation. It felt like an assault. And I had no control over the fact that I was trying to shove her off me and shit. Yeah. I knew that I had to have the test. I wasn't consciously fighting her off. I just fought her off. Like, I was like, get the fuck off me, and shoved her. And she was not fazed.
But it's because everybody was doing it.
She just grabbed hold of my face and just did it even harder, and then did it on the other nostril.
It was really hard, like, as in physically, they push it in so hard.
It did make me feel like I was choking on it.
It feels like drowning.
Yeah.
It felt like I was drowning.
Yeah. It was, and, like, everybody we saw, then so after you've had the test, you go to passport control, and there's, like, you stood in the queue at passport control, and, like, everybody's eyes are watering, everybody's, like, sort of coughing and spluttering and being like, oh my God, that was awful. And you're all just stood there a little bit, like, in shock, like, what the fuck just fucking happened to us all. And that was, I'd said to Jamie once I got hold of, because I just stood so upset. I was like visibly upset.
And they wouldn't let me stay with you.
Yeah, but it felt to me like being assaulted. I have a real thing with medical procedures where I can cope with them as long as I'm fully informed. You know, like, someone has to be like, Jess, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and it's going to feel like this, and you need to prepare, and it's going to be okay. Now that I can deal with. Someone fucking not speaking to me, not preparing me, I'm not able to have a conversation with her because she speaks no English, and then the way that she, like, grabbed me, and I couldn't consent, I couldn't not consent, I couldn't do fucking anything. That was way too much of, like, for me, way too far into assault territory. So, like, I was probably quite triggered by that point. So, I was really upset.
They actually said, I think I was actually told on the phone that it goes in the back of your throat. They were actually told wrong.
Oh, really? Oh, I
didn't want to...
where you'd got that from. Because I always said it on thought the phone. It was nasal. Because, like, obviously...
For people who we booked the holiday
My sisters are both key workers, and they've always had the nasal ones, but... Yeah, so, like, then we fucking... Passport control was a fucking load of shit. Basically, I got told, like, 50 times that I wasn't who I said I was. Which was the strangest experience. Like, what do you do when
someone's got your passport,
is holding your passport, your ID that proves who you are? Technically, like, that's what people do, and they go, prove who you are, have you got some ID? And then you give them the ID. What happens when that person is holding your ID and goes, that's not you? What do you fucking produce then? You go, yeah, it is. And then they go, no, it's not. And you're like, it is. No, it's not. You're fucked on. You just stand there arguing with someone. It's basically a matter of opinion. Like, you're going, it is me, because this is... I felt like, you know, in films when someone's made a clone of themselves, and someone's going, well, which one's the real you? And they're going, me, it's me, I'm the real... How do I know? It's me, I'm telling you, who knows? Like, that's how I fucking felt in that passport control room. So they were maldy about that. Then they got me doing my signature to prove it was my signature, which, as I said to you, was a fucking nightmare, because, as it so happens, the signature on my passport is not correct, because I tried to fucking do it and the pen ran out on the J. So I have a signature on my passport with 2 different fucking pens where I've clearly run out and started it again. So it looks nothing like my natural signature. So then they're asking me to basically replicate the time where I tried to do my signature with 2 different pens. It's not possible, is it? So I tried my very hardest. He just looked at me and he was like, that's not a signature. And I was like, for fuck's sake. I was like, obviously it's not, because that's not my fucking signature on the passport.
Well, I think it would have looked quite similar.
I fucking tried. Anyway, he made me do it again. And then he just stared at me. And then he made me do it again. And then he, like, picked the phone up and started ringing
somebody. Nobody can get their signature 100% exactly the same every time.
Because I signed all the books I wrote. And I would be very surprised if anyone can find one that matches the other.
Mm. And then he got mardy about you travelling with me.
Oh, yeah. And then he was like, who are you travelling with? Oh, no, he didn't. He goes, are you travelling alone? And I said, no, I'm with my partner. And then he, like, stared at me and then looked at the computer screen and was like, it says here you're travelling with a woman. And I was like, right. And he was like, sister. I said, no, my partner.
It is legal to be gay in Cuba as well.
Yeah, and then he went, relative. And I went, no. And he went, friend. And I was like, no. And then he just stared at me a bit more. And then I just felt this really, like... Then he started taking pictures of the sides of my face and shit and telling me to, like, move my head around and take photos and stuff. I just stood there thinking, could this get any worse? I've just been assaulted by a fucking swab. Now I've got some bloke telling me that I'm not who I said I am and, like, interrogating me about Jamie. And I just thought, how the fuck am I going to get out of this little thing that looked like a fucking... What's it? That horses get in before they race, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, fucking hell.
A little metal fucking door. I thought, fucking hell, I could probably jump over this.
Yeah, that's literally what
Jamie,
it was
like. Run! But, like, just, like, it was awful. Just stood there. And then after being in there, I was in there for ages, much longer than everyone else.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then all of a sudden, he just sort of looked at me, gave me a passport back, and, like, it was like, meh. I'm like, what? And then he just let me out. I was like, okay. So we went and got the bags, didn't we? And then went to the hotel. Mm. In fairness, once we'd received our negative tests...
The longest 12 hours of our lives.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Once we'd received the negative tests and realised that we weren't going to get shoved in some facility 2.5 hours away in Havana.
Havana.
Do you know some, that song might actually give me PTSD, you know? Every time, what's it called? Camila Cabello. She's like, Havana, and I'm like, ooh, nasal swab. Honestly. So, like, once that had all calmed down, we made some, like, really awesome friends.
Yeah, we did.
I did promise that I would give Chantel a shout out. Shout out to Chantel. We did. We made some awesome friends who were all Northern. Okay, right. Weirdest fucking experience of my life. Went to fucking Cuba. Fucking the other side of the world. Who's in the fucking hotel? 60 Northerners. No,
because they only had the flights from Manchester.
Yeah, they'd only sent out 2 flights from Manchester to this particular hotel.
Because we literally left on the day Boris announced.
Yeah, and we were allowed to go because it didn't come into effect until 3 or 4 days later.
But that we were the last flight they let out,
exactly.
And it was from Manchester, so it was just a load of Northerners.
Yeah, so they just sent
and Midlanders,
and then obviously they split them across the hotels. So it was like fucking 60 odd Manx and Northerners and fucking Midlanders just shoved in a fucking hotel in Cuba, which I can tell you now was messy as fuck. I tell you that I've never in my life been to a fucking hotel, fucking 5-star all-inclusive hotel on the other side of the world. Everyone's a Northerner.
Yeah.
Just a walk in, everyone speaks the same as me. It was fucking crazy.
Oh, Castro's barking. Well, did a little huff.
She does that little huff where she's like, I want to go outside and fight with foxes. Except she doesn't realise she's the size of a squirrel and they kick her ass. She's rock hard behind that double glazing.
Like Neville behind the protection charm in the Battle of Hogwarts.
You and what? That's fucking Castro. You and whose army? And then you open the door and she fucks off. Runs off.
Oh.
No, it was like, and obviously we had like a really nice time.
We had an amazing time. Like, just like the friends that we made, they just made it just so fun. We just were like searching for shells on the beach and like drinking pina coladas.
A lot of day drinking.
Nobody got like drunk though.
No,
we were just
I wasn't drunk the whole time I was there, but like I had a nice chilled out time.
And Cuba's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and then we would like chill out.
Posters of Fidel Castro everywhere. Which I was very happy about.
It was also really interesting that every time Jamie spoke to like some random couples about our dog Castro, she had to like be like, the dog Castro. my dog is called Castro, because she kept talking about like, oh, Castro is this or Castro is that, and then you're like, oh, my dog.
Yeah,
my dog's Castro.
Like I've actually forgotten. Like obviously Castro is named after Castro, but I actually have now forgotten that Castro is named after Castro, and in my opinion, our dog is named after
our dog is the real Castro.
Yeah.
No, our dog is the real Castro, and Fidel Castro is actually named after the Pomchi.
Yeah. In future generations. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and there was this beach bar at the night time. So when you'd finished drinking in the lobby, which shut at midnight, we would then get this little golf cart buggy at fucking 40 miles an hour. It's fucking terrifying. You're just like, it's a good job you had a couple of drinks, because sober you wouldn't get on that shit. And you're like,
yes, you would. That's such a lie. We go on rickshaws when we're sober.
Yeah,
in the middle of London.
You've banned me off rickshaws.
Yes, I have banned you off rickshaws.
Right, well, don't say it then, because I got banned off rickshaws. Because they keep trying to, like, we keep nearly dying on them.
And also, Rosa told us that unfortunately, a lot of people who are like rickshaw drivers are actually like trafficked.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember.
So we didn't really go after that.
I remember that actually. What were we talking about?
The golf cart.
Oh yeah, and then you go down the beach bar on like down on this lower beach in Cuba, and we'd just sit there for hours talking shit. Anyway, it did 24-hour chips and pizza for free. And you just fucking, well, it wasn't for free, obviously, because that's the nature of all inclusive. But like, you like order your drinks, get some pizza and some chips, and just sit there. And we were talking about this, weren't we? That it was such a weird experience because there was so few of us there
in this like massive hotel
that could probably get 1,800, 2,000 people.
And there's like 60 of us.
Yeah, had free reign everywhere. And the thing is, because there's so little of you, really. You end up bonding, don't you, and spending time together and sitting and getting to know each other and making friends and stuff. It's just a completely different experience to when you go on a big holiday with your partner, and you might see a couple and be like, "You all right?" Or like, "Oh, how's your holiday going?" But you don't,
I always make holiday friends.
But you don't like...
But not to the extent that we've made friends with these guys.
Yeah, no, they're like, it's been lovely, and we're so different from each other.
But it all works so well.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, actually, isn't there a flight back literally in a few hours?
Is it?
Because it's Sunday.
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then that means we can catch up with them properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like obviously we went to Cuba, that was eventful. Then Hurricane Eta decided to smash into Nicaragua and Honduras and cause like untold damage and killed really hundreds and hundreds of people.
And the US elections meant
and then and we sat in the bar watching the US election results.
But the issue was that nobody was helping Honduras or Nicaragua because nobody was reporting on it.
Yeah, agreed.
It was really sad, and like it's the first time that we've ever sort of experienced something happening not in the like Western world.
Yeah, where no one even talked about it.
Cared.
No.
But then as soon as there was a chance it was going to hit
Florida, Miami, fucking hell.
Everybody was talking about it.
So, right, you won't know this because obviously you weren't sort of there, if you know what I mean. But we knew Hurricane Eta was going to hit us 7 days before it hit us, right? No fucking coverage. No one talking about it.
Not even Tui knew.
Yeah, no information, nothing, right? And then about 2 or 3 days before it hit us, after it had already hit Honduras and Nicaragua and had caused fucking mudslides, they were under fucking 14 feet of water, people had died.
Gone missing.
Yep. So after
there was
all
like
that
a little girl
happened,
who was 9 who died.
Yeah.
In Honduras.
They lost didn't they lose an entire set of families in that mudslide as well?
Did they?
So like, bear in mind, all of this had happened. Me and Jamie every day were checking the news being like, why is there nothing on? Why is nobody talking about this? Why is there nobody reporting this? And then the fucking 2 or 3, and not even about Cuba. It was going to hit Cuba. Nobody fucking spoke about it. And all of a sudden, the path of the hurricane changed. It was going to hit Miami. Oh my God, it was on every fucking channel. Every fucking channel. Oh, it's going to hit Miami. What are we going to do? It's going to hit Miami. And they're like, what the fuck, man? It's just devastated Nicaragua and Honduras. And like you've said, fuck all. It's now going to hit Cayman Islands. It hit Jamaica.
Yeah.
Then it hit Cuba.
And that's the second one. Jamaica have had a bad one in like
2 weeks.
A couple of weeks, yeah.
And like fucking nothing was said. Oh my God, as soon as the fucking Yanks got hold of the fact that it was going to hit...
Whoa, careful saying that word.
Why?
Some people don't like. Some Americans don't. Some Americans love being called Yanks and some Americans hate being called Yanks.
Why?
Because it's like some people say it as a slur.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it the same as just like Brits?
I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I still think that as soon as it became Western centric, everybody was fucking all over that shit. And it was really, really annoying. I was so angry. Like for 2 days solid, I kept saying to Jamie, I can't get over how angry I am that, you know, these countries have been devastated by this hurricane. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking second it threatens Florida, oh my God, everyone's up in fucking arms as sandbags. 24-hour news channel they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
They actually did a 24-hour tracking of the hurricane system to hit Florida and Miami.
Yeah.
I was so angry. I couldn't even... I was seething. I just kept drinking.
We had such a great time though. All in all.
Yeah. And we have said we would love to go back to Cuba, like in different circumstances.
Yeah, once the COVID stuff's over.
Yeah, definitely. And
sorry, that was my phone that vibrated, by the way. I didn't just fart.
So yeah, we got back from Cuba. Oh yeah, our flight was delayed, wasn't it? Because we had to fly through the hurricane.
Yeah.
And then the pilots had to try and find us a different route, didn't they? So we ended up going through the Gulf of Mexico and then over America, then through Canada and then across to Ireland because they couldn't find another way home because our flight path was so compromised. I think they did awesome, to be honest with you, excellent. Because they were like warning us, being like, oh, there's a lot of turbulence, there's this, that and the other. They managed to fly around all of it.
Yeah, there wasn't even that much turbulence.
No, there was a bit where you were fast asleep where we had quite a bit of turbulence, you know. You didn't even fucking flinch. I forgot to tell you.
Oh.
And I kept thinking, I wonder if she'll wake up. Nope. You didn't even flinch.
Interesting.
We were definitely glad to be back home.
Yeah, we missed the dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, we're talking about you on the podcast.
Should get to fucking bed.
I know she is. She's like, It's bedtime. Why are we not in bed?
So you better not be doing another podcast after this. Well, Castro, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, that's not a happy face.
Come on. Anyway, let's...
Yeah, so we got back. Horrible jet lag. But that was because our flight was so delayed. Our flight was 12 hours delayed, wasn't it? No, 10. 10 hours delayed.
No, it was like 6, but the time difference is 5 hours. So it felt so much longer.
No, was it 7 or 8 hours in the end delayed?
Ah, yes, yeah.
And
then
it was. And then obviously you had the time difference.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, it just fucked us up so bad.
Yeah, it did.
And we tried to stay up when we got home to try and even it out. Anyway, that shit did not work.
Well,
we ended up
did stay
wide awake at like 3 a.m.
We did stay up. We stayed up until like 9 o'clock, went to sleep, woke up at like 2 a.m. and were wide awake until 5.
Yeah. And then we like forced ourselves to go back to sleep. And it properly took us, I'd say, until maybe yesterday.
Yeah.
To start feeling like we were back on our time zone again. It's fucking awful. I hate jet lag. It's the most disorientating, horrible feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Makes me ill every single time as well. Okay, this is a really interesting fact. So I learned that jet lag is so bad and it causes you to have like an upset stomach and really bad issues with digestion. You can get indigestion, you can get sickness, diarrhea, all these different things. Apparently it's because when you're in a different time zone that's significantly different from your own, you eat when your body is normally asleep. So your body is used to having lower levels of stomach acid and lower levels of activity, like digestive activity. And then you're normally asleep and you have been for years and years and years at this particular time. Now all of a sudden you're awake at that time and you're eating food, you're drinking alcohol and stuff like that, and it switches around, and then you're asleep at the time when your digestive system is usually the most active. And then when you try and switch it back again, that's it, all fucking hell breaks loose. And that's what makes you ill. And I couldn't believe it. And then I read this study, I told you about it, didn't I? That I read this study that if you're doing a massive flight that's over like 12 hours, you should not eat any of the food on the aeroplane. You should just drink water.
But, right,
it's not
imagine
realistic.
How boring a flight would be if you didn't eat.
No, I know, I get it. I'm just like...
That's what entertains you on a flight, is eating on a long haul.
But, like, the study found that those people who didn't eat at all didn't get jet lag to anywhere near the extent of the people that had been eating around the time that they should have been fast asleep. So it was a really interesting study that I read a couple of years ago because I was trying to figure out why my jet lag was so serious. But as Jamie says, quite rightly, you're just not going to fucking starve yourself on a 12-hour flight when there's fuck all else to do, and then they're bringing around cute little dinners.
Yeah, and they are cute. People moan about airplane food, but I've always thought it's great.
I know, fucking hell. I tell you what, airplane food, it outstrips school dinners.
For sure, and a lot of all-inclusive.
Yeah, that's so true. You fucking have this great airplane food, you get to your all-inclusive resort, and it's like, oh, it's rice and pasta again.
Oh, look, it's rice mixed with noodles. Plain.
Oh, look, it's slop. Wonder what the slop is. Oh,
look, it's cake that all tastes the same.
I know, it doesn't matter if it's brown different. Or pink or yellow or white. It's all the same. It's not even proper cake, it's like foam.
Yeah.
All-inclusive cake is like foam.
With like weird like soggy biscuits. Like layered in it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like a posh tray bake that tastes of nothing.
Yeah, and do you know what? They look awesome.
They look amazing.
You go and you're like, whoa, look at all these amazing desserts. You put them in your mouth, you're like, oh, they just taste like foam. Nothing foam.
Oh, I wonder what this one's like. Oh,
it's the same.
Exactly the same. I thought it would be chocolate. How silly of me.
Do you remember them biscuits, though?
You raved about them.
Yeah, we did rave about them, right. So, on the last day when we were waiting for the flights and we were super delayed and this man kept coming and giving us bad news over and over again, we were sat with our friends and I picked this biscuit up off the side that were on these platters for everyone that was waiting. There was cakes, biscuits, sandwiches, that sort of thing. Picked this biscuit up, looked fucking basic as fuck, picked it up and my nose just got this whiff of it and it fucking smelled like school baking.
Yeah, it smelled exactly like that.
Of your school
of your high
when you were all making biscuits.
Yeah.
Right? It's
or
anything.
Or anything. The cooking areas at school
always
smelled like that. Always.
Yeah. And that's what it smelled like. And there's no other way I can explain it. Anyway, I was sat there turned to Chantal and was like, fucking smell this biscuit and tell me what memory springs to mind. Didn't say nothing else. Shoved this biscuit in her face and she was like, smells like school cooking. And I was like, fucking does, doesn't it? Jamie was busy in a conversation. Then
I was talking to Beth.
Yeah, and then I turned to Beth and I was like, Beth, smell this cookie. I was like,
that sounds really weird.
I actually just sat there for about 10 fucking minutes getting people to sniff it.
Do you want to sniff my cookie? Fucking hell, Jeff.
Oh, I did. That's the truth. So, like, and then she smelled it and she said the exact same thing. And then, like, a bit into it, and it smelled like...
It tasted how it smelled.
It tasted exactly like school biscuits.
Yeah.
It was fucking brilliant. Went up and got some more. I was well happy with that. I don't know how you achieve that, but I was very happy with it.
Yeah.
None of the biscuits I've ever made have tasted like school. I wish I could do that. I'd make this house smell like that all the time. I'd be like Morrison's, you know, piping it round. They'd pipe fresh bread smell around. I'd pipe that smell around.
Oh, bless us. But yeah, no, I think we had a great time. Okay, we don't have that long left. We've got about 4 minutes.
Maybe we should talk about, like, I don't know, what we're going to cover.
Yeah, let's...
Well, no, because we've already. I guess they already know about that.
Yeah.
We just we've had a few drinks tonight because we've been watching Harry Potter, haven't we?
Yeah.
We watched the final Harry Potter.
So for probably almost 2 years, I have been saying to Jess and the kids, "Oh my God, you all need to, like, obviously I'd prefer them all to read the Harry Potters, but getting especially the older one to commit to a book, let alone 7 books, would be quite the task." But anyway, so I've finally, after them all ridiculing Harry Potter, Summer Chronic, I finally got them to watch all the films. And all it took was them to just watch the first one and they were hooked. And we've just finished Deathly Hallows Part 2 and like all of you are just completely speechless, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they're awesome. I couldn't believe how, like, detailed and like me and you were saying, the subplots within them are fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It's like...
They're really dark, though. They're a lot darker than I remember. The thing is, I said this to Jamie, when the Harry Potters came out, I was at a very different stage in my life. I couldn't have watched them. Well, I did. I tried to watch them. That's why whenever Jamie used to say, "Do you like Harry Potter?" I'd say, "No, it's shit." Is because when I was younger, and it was actually coming out when I was a teenager, I had so much other shit going on that the last thing I needed was watching a film about some fucking wizard. Do you know what I mean?
Teenager, you would have been... When the first film came out, you would have been about
11
or 10.
I was 11 the first one.
Were you?
Yeah. Which is exactly when all my shit started cracking off. It was too much for me. And I remember I knew, like, I was seeing it on the TV, everyone was raving about it, all my friends read the books, they used to bring them to school, they were reading all the books when we were like 9 and 10 and 11, oh my God, like everyone was obsessed with them, they bring these big chunky fucking, the original books to school. I just didn't have, like, headspace for that shit because of everything that was going on. And it's been amazing coming back to it and being able to, like, watch it properly. And now I understand why kids loved it and why adults love it, because it's like Haribo. But, like, I just... Haribo Potter.
Fucking hell.
But, like, I just... yeah, it's so fucking clever. And so's J.K. Rowling. Like, fucking all that shit out of her brain is amazing, and you can see now why it's been so successful.
The details in it are incredible. There are so many messages that she is able to convey to young children and adults, really, about things that don't quite mean they mean more than what she's portraying. So it's like, it's deals with things like racism, homophobia, which you would not have got away with writing for a kid's book back in the 90s. But stuff like, well, that's how I always interpreted it anyway, but it's basically prejudice and oppression, but in a way that kids are able to learn about it, and then they would be able to understand it and recognise it when it comes into play in their real life. But that's what I loved about it anyway. Yeah, I think we are...
So now our youngest is reading all the books, isn't he, bit by bit? He just finished the second book today, he started the third one today, and he's took it to bed to go continue reading the third book. Yeah,
and he loves it.
He's just like absorbing
and me and him have like little inside jokes now about things that happen in the books. that don't obviously, well, not things that happen, but they're just little things. Anyway, I think we need to...
I know, we better wrap it up, haven't we? It's been nice doing that. I've not done that in ages, have we?
Yeah.
All
Ready?
Right. See you soon.